I get it wasn't as good as the first one, but did it really deserve to be snubbed at the Oscars? Hey, what's up guys? Alan here. Welcome to another episode of Thoughts on This, where I speak on my thoughts. And with the Oscars being a month away, I'll be giving my thoughts on a film that was completely robbed at the Oscars, as in it received 0 nominations. And if you know what I'm talking about, you would know I am talking about Wicked for Good, the sequel to 2024's smash hit and the adaptation of the popular Broadway musical. Set years after the first film, the sequel adapts the second half. Elphaba, now known as the Wicked Witch of the West, continues her mission to advocate for animal rights in Oz, while Glinda is now a spokesperson working for the wizard. The two witches eventually reunite, leading both of them to be changed for good, no pun intended. The film was released this past November with a domestic gross of over $140 million at the box office on opening weekend. Unlike the first film, it received more mixed reviews and was completely overshadowed at the Oscars. Now, what do I think about this film? This film was on my list of highly anticipated films of 2025. I've seen the show, so I was really excited to see how it translated from stage to screen, and I thought it was translated beautifully. I really enjoyed it. The music was phenomenal, the visuals were captivating, and it was emotional as the second act. But the main issue I had with this film is that there were scenes that felt unnecessary. It felt like they were just there just to accommodate the 2-hour runtime. Overall, good sequel, but compared to the first film, it was scaled down. However, it still did a fantastic job in tying into The Wizard of Oz and how certain characters from Act 1 ended up in that story. It was a good execution of intersecting two major stories while having the main one still be the focus. The way Dorothy was handled in terms of giving her a bigger role compared to the stage version by being a plot device was perfect. Her presence was felt throughout the film, and having her be a factor in the conflicts that occurred moved the story forward. I kinda wish they showed her face, but having her faceless was the right call, as it didn't take the attention away from the main story. Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande shine once again as the two leads. They are just amazing, their chemistry was palpable, and they both added something different to their roles in this film. Erivo was more vicious and empowering as Elphaba, adding more layers, which added to her character arc, going from this animal rights activist to finally embracing her wickedness. And her rendition of No Good Deed was as powerful and hard-hitting as its stage counterpart. Her vocals were ungodly. It's without a question that Grande's performance as Glinda was the surprise standout performance from part 1. The comedic timing and stellar vocal range, she knocked it out of the park. So it's only fair that she followed it up again with another standout performance, but this time with more emotion, showing a new side of Glinda that is more than just a popular pampered girl. Her performance was strong that it deserved an Oscar, or at least deserved recognition, because that performance she brought was everything. Jonathan Bailey was still charming as Prince Fiero, but with a more rebellious and mature side, which made me love him even more. He added more depth and nuance to his character, making Fiero the most underrated and low-key the best character in both films. Jeff Goldblum's performance was highly improved from the previous film, as he was a lot more energetic and charismatic in this film. Marissa Bode was fine, but I felt like there was something missing in bringing Nessa to life. The character was a bit more cynical in the second act, and I wish she brought more of that edgy persona into the film. Other standouts include Ethan Slater, who brought in all the raging emotion into his performance, and Academy Award winner Michelle Yeoh, who was a lot more vain and cruel in this film. The cinematography and editing was a major improvement from the first film. It was all stunning and breathtaking to witness. The cinematography was showcased beautifully during the girl in the bubble sequence. The camera going from one mirror to then transitioning to another shot was captivating. The mind-blowing camera tricks paired with Angelique's singing voice is what made the entire sequence a visual spectacle. The editing helped invoke the suspense during the film's dramatic moments, from the intercut between the wedding and Elphaba confronting the wizard, and that sequence of Dorothy's house crashing into Oz. It also complemented the tense feelings of the No Good Deed sequence. The visual effects, the flashbacks, and scenes of Fiero getting beaten is what made this haunting ballad more darker and epic. Let's be honest, the music from Act 1 is far more superior than the music from Act 2. But this film took Act 2's soundtrack and kicked it up a notch by adding 2 brand new songs that actually fit in nicely with the rest of the soundtrack. They blended in with the rest of the Act 2 songs. No Place Like Home was the song that I didn't expect it to be this freedom fighting anthem, but yet here we are. It's a great song. It's an uplifting and empowering song that sums up Elphaba's cause of fighting for animal rights in Oz. And Erivo's voice in the song is enough to make listeners feel inspired. The Girl in the Bubble was probably the most heartfelt out of all the songs in the film other than For Good, which I will talk about later, but this song encapsulated Glinda's motivation to break out of her pretty facade and be good for real. The one issue I have with this song was where it was placed. Having it be in the middle of March of the Witch Hunters was bizarre to me and it kinda broke the pacing. But regardless, the song reflects the character's vulnerability and Grande's vocals was like hearing angels sing from heaven. And out of the 2 new original songs, this is the one that is worthy of an Oscar. The rest of the songs were just as enticing as their original counterparts, with some being a huge improvement. Wonderful was even more theatrical with Glinda being added to the mix, making it feel more like a Broadway musical number. The new version of Everyday More Wicked served as a quick recap of where we left off, and I loved the portion where it was a bit of a mashup of a couple of Act 1 songs. It added to that tribute element to the film. Cynthia Erivo and Jonathan Bailey's take on As Long As Your Mind had me spellbound. This is one of my favorite songs from the musical, and it was perfect. Their voices meshed so well together, and it was enchanting and steamy as the Broadway version. Erivo and Grande's take on For Good was as beautiful and gut-wrenching as its stage counterpart. The rawness and connection between these two were felt throughout that entire sequence. And the scene that immediately followed after is what capitalized on that emotional weight. Watching it all unfold on the big screen was heartbreaking that even the most diehard fan would leave sobbing. Overall, I thought critics and the Academy were harsh with this film. It had its flaws, but it had more highs than lows. And I get why it didn't get Best Picture this year, but it deserved to be recognized in other categories like cinematography, costume design, production design, and even original songs. It deserved at least 1 or 2 nominations. The film itself hit all the right notes and evoking the same drama and emotion from the show's second act, especially in the last few minutes. The striking visuals, show-stopping musical segments, and outstanding performances is what made it well translated from the stage to the screen, while the new additions added something fresh that expands the story and character arc. Even though the pacing was messy, it was still a satisfying conclusion to this 2-part adaptation of the Broadway musical. Alright, that sums up all of my thoughts on this film, and if you agree or disagree, let me know down in the comments. And if you haven't already subscribed, that would really mean a lot. That's all I have to say, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!